Well, hello and welcome everybody to the Pegasus Actual Podcast. Today we're going to be working on Season three's episode, The Eye of Jupiter. And today running the show is your pal, Cultured Casino, but we do have Drew, the Supreme Heretic here, operating via telephone. Hey, Drew, how are you on your own channel, my friend?
Man, I'm on like this ancient tablet I got, dude. And it's so, oh God, it's so bad. I cannot wait to get back to a computer.
Well, we're working on that for you, my friend. I know that a lot of us are promoting the PayPal that you have provided, and we're going to try to get you that new power supply and motherboard, and maybe at some point, maybe you should get just a new computer. But let's get you back to running this thing. I want to say thank you to everybody in the chat that hung around. We were a little bit late getting started, trying to get things up and running for you tonight. But this will be a great episode, and I want to take this opportunity to introduce the amazing, talented, and the person that actually makes us really look really smart. Raquel Briggs. What's up, RM Briggs?
Oh, that's such a warm welcome. Thank you so much, Cece. It's just a pleasure and an honor to be here. So thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a great pleasure for you to join us because you, like I said, you make us look better. And then finally, the man, the myth, the author, and apparently someone who has an affinity to trees, our friend.
Why you gotta bring that here? This is my safe space. This is where I come to enjoy entertainment, not be harassed by propagandists like you. Hail to the chat. How you guys doing tonight? Parrothead, F you. And everybody else, hi. How you doing?
I just want to give a lot of thanks to everybody out there that's trying to help out, and a big thank you to Stephen and Culture and Raquel for keeping the show going, even though there's extenuating circumstances. I appreciate you guys coming through clutch, man.
Love you, Drew.
Especially Culture. Thanks for keeping the workflow going smooth. I see a lot of our friends are in the chat. Tox is here. I know that's Tox. Drew got a boner and launched his PC into space.
That's quite popular.
Lady Mist is here too. Shout out to Lady Mist.
Yeah, thank you, Lady Mist. Roof Korean is in the house. I saw my boy Jorge Arenas, the Armored Otter, is chilling in the chat. Brightest Days in here. Resvergam's in here. Mikhail, Emperor of Corruption, is in here. Tehillim's in here. Great to see Tehillim. So it seems like the gang's all here, and of course Parrothead. Yeah. So we've got everybody, and Stone Cold Jeremy. Great to see you.
Hail, brother.
Yeah. Again, I apologize for the technical difficulties on my end, guys. It sucks kind of not having a computer at the moment, but
holy cow, Armored Otter, that's awesome.
Right?
It's great.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I'm glad we're up and running today. There's a lot of good things to talk about. So without any further ado, and since we've said hello to each and every one of you, let's have Raquel lead us off the normal and traditional way, where she gives us the little blurb, the little pop out. Where are we at?
Well, we're on The Eye of Jupiter, Season 3, Episode 10. And it is my understanding that depending upon which streaming service you use, it might not come up as Episode 10. So Season 3, and make sure you check that title, The Eye of Jupiter. So let's do that. Let's roll. This is all pre-credit information.
This is 10 or 11, I think. Yeah. Depending. Yeah.
Yeah, depending upon which side of the ocean you're on and what streaming service you're using. So we open on the 14th day of harvesting the gag-inducing algae on the algae planet. Chief is organizing a sizable team. They grapple with giant hoses. They're all filthy. They all look miserable. The planet is hot. They are flanked by hills. Chief turns his head, reacting to a noise in the hillside, but returns to his work. He's chatting with Anders over the rankness of the entire planet. Then we join Lee and Duala in the Quonset, in Aquansit, sorry. Husband and wife discuss Starbuck's arrival in a Raptor. They are taxiing the Algae stores piecemeal via the Raptors. Lee quits the hut and joins a newly arrived Starbuck who has landed in the nearby brush. They immediately begin undressing one another and sucking face. It's gross. Lee is married. They're both filthy, sweaty, and covered in algae. They continue to coitus, and we cut to Callie and Chief discussing the teardown of the temporary encampment. Chief's spider senses go off again. He scans the hills. We cut back to the coitus erectus on the Raptor. Lee whines about feeling guilty. He brings up divorce. Starbuck goes bizarrely faux noble. Coitus interruptus. They bicker over their spouses. Starbuck doesn't believe in divorce, and Lee doesn't believe in cheating. Well, in perpetual covert coitus. We cut to the base ship. A young toddler is screaming. Multiple images of the world of Gaius flash on the screen. We've joined Gaius, waking from a nightmare. He wakes alone, puts on his complimentary Cylon hotel robe, and goes searching for the screaming Toaster Tot. He enters an open room. Toaster Tot is screaming at the top of its cyborg lungs. Sharon is there. Boomer 8. Unable to console the Toaster Tot, she claims the cyborg baby is ill. The child stops crying as Gaius soothes it, calling it Hera. We cut back to the Algae planet, and Chief's spider senses tingling are now on overdrive. He wanders off into the hillside while eerie wind chime music plays. He hikes for quite some time before arriving at a peak that looks like an unnaturally prominent rock formation. He enters a cave that gives way to a room that looks like a massive grain silo, only there is a towering obelisk in the middle. There is script on the base of the obelisk, and as our purview gives way to the Chief's perspective, we discover a balcony above, complete with floodlights. The roof is reminiscent of an unpainted Greek Orthodox cathedral ceiling. We cut to black, and then the credits. Any comments on this, fellas, or the chat?
Well, I just, the opening scenes to me always, was a little bit disturbing, obviously, because of the romantic situation that existed between, Apollo and Starbuck and all of that. And it just, and obviously it's not lost, as we'll see later on, other parties. But the harvesting of this planet is obviously taking them some time as far as this algae stuff goes, and there's reasons for that, obviously, that they get into in the show.
Yeah.
But I aside from that, I mean, you have that weird spider sense of the Chief that led him to just this odd thing, and it really, it starts to get your hackles up. I mean, as a member of the audience, you're like, what, This is an odd thing. Why is he sensing this? So kind of cool.
It was a very odd thing. I'm sorry, Culture, were you finished?
No, of course I was done. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, cool. Amazing how different perspectives when you watch entertainments throughout the years, or shows or films, depending on where you are in your life. Good art will allow you to get a different perspective on things as you mature or as you go through different life experiences. Back in the day when I seen Lee and Starbuck going at it, I was like, "Yeah, just get it done. What are you doing? Don't hold it in. Let it out." Now, who I am today is totally different. I was disgusted by that behavior. I've kind of been disgusted by Starbuck's behavior and her treatment of Lee. And then both of their behaviors in cheating on their respective spouses. I don't like how she treats her husband, and I don't like how he's treating his wife. So my perspective has changed from the past, where I would have been like, runningly get it on, to now it's difficult for me to watch. I actually lose respect for the characters themselves as I see them just cheating on one another. I also and Lee half-heartedly saying, "I can't do this. I can't cheat. I can't be with." You already did. You did the moment you went up there with the intention, with a longing intention to see her, and then began to place your hands on her. You already cheat. You already disrespected the covenant of marriage. So I mean, I still love the show. I still love these characters, but I'm beginning to loathe that the way that they're treating other people that they're married to. And also, with the perspective of Chief Terrell has been an interesting character from the get. it does make you wonder. And I'm not going to go into the future of this show for anyone who's not seen it, but there's little clues here and there as to where the show is going to go and how they misdirect you intentionally into thinking something that is not what's coming. And they've done that several times over the next 2 episodes. I'm sorry again, I couldn't stop watching. I had to keep going. So yeah, that's all I have for now. Thank you.
Well, I really like your comments, Stephen, because it's reflective of good writing, and on you as a person. It shows that you're an intelligent being who is capable of self-actualizing and edifying yourself. You're never the same person throughout your life, and you go through cycles of learning and growing and changing who you are. And so you look back on these books and you look back on these films, and the world is different, and you're different. Therefore, the way you imbibe them creates a much different reaction. It's kind of like trying scotch when you're 17. It's absolutely terrible, but when you're 50, it's not so bad. And pass me that cigar.
Right.
So I absolutely love your comments, because depending upon where you are in life, this will resonate with you in
Absolutely.
a different way and in a different heart space and head space and private space.
Well, anyway, great entertainment kind of allows you to escape, but also presents you with philosophical questions of the heart. And as we get older, if we choose to become parents, or and we look at stories involving children, which is also kind of works into the next couple episodes. As parents, we look at things differently, we feel them differently. So it's exactly when I was a young man. When this came out, I was a young man, and it was all about just getting it in. It was all you got that feeling, go and get it. But, as I've gotten older and I respect relationships more, what it means to be in a trusting, loving, positive, fulfilling relationship, I see things like that. And it disgusts me at the personal disownership of what you have lent someone, what you have proposed to someone, what you give to someone in a relationship.
Yeah. I totally agree. I 100% agree. Love that. Love that. Drew, what are your thoughts? Would you like to chime in here? Or is it too difficult for you, sweetheart? I know being on the phone and participating in StreamYards is an absolute nightmare. So only if you can.
Oh, it is. The situation here is I'm really torn, because on the one hand, being kind of sort of Starbuck and Lee like proponent of their thing that they have going on, and then also being a staunch believer in the sanctity of marriage. I think it's wrong too. I kind of agree with what Steven said. It bothered me, but I was torn, because like again, I was a fan of Starbuck and Lee getting together, but I do, it challenges my personal morals.
Well, for me, I guess, I'm not going to make excuses for her, but I am just going to come right out and say that I'm less disappointed with Starbuck, because she did have the dun 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 conversation with Samuel. And I think that distinguishes what she's doing in a much different category. There's a wall up there for me. For me, what Lee is doing is really gross. But at least she gave him the warning flag. She said, "Look, like I can't be with you right now. You make me sick. I want to punch you in the face. I feel violent. I don't want to be around anyone. We're pausing this whole thing." And then violently exited that conversation. So, I mean, at least Anders had an inkling of what was going on, and she had the integrity not to be a coward. And but that is what I do see. I think different people cheat for different reasons. I've read a lot of psychology on cheating, and many times it's people who are being psychologically, emotionally, or physically abused in a relationship, and it's their way of reaching out to reclaim a little space inside of themselves. And I get all that, but like I said, Starbuck, I think, at least she was honest with Anders and said, look, this whole marriage thing is on pause. I'm violent. I'm useless. I don't want to be involved in anything right now. And she hit the pause button and walked away. Lee, on the other hand, is doing something incredibly wretched to Duala, who is absolutely the most gorgeous young woman who has stood by him and just been his rock, even when he was Pillsbury Doughly. And he's I don't know, what he's doing is next level, and I don't like his crocodile tears either. It's outrageous, and that's why I love Steven's comments, because there he is, coitus erectus, literally and figuratively, and he's like, oh, but at the same time, their physical movements actually show that off screen. I if memory serves, that's lacuna in literary theory. We know that they have been, sleeping with each other, and quite frequently. And that's the message, right?
And the moment she says, "Yeah, I'll get with you," he's gonna dump Duala like nothing, like she's nothing. And so I totally agree with you. Yeah, he's just waiting for her to say yes.
Yeah.
And that's a terrible place to put somebody else.
It is, especially somebody who doesn't deserve it. At least have the courage to go to the person and tell them, look, all bets are off. And sometimes in relationships, it's hard to disentangle oneself fully, but at least having the courage, the strength and the integrity to say to somebody, look, this is over for right now. I have to draw a line in the sand. I don't feel like I want to be with you anymore. And at least Starbuck did that. That does not negate how disgusting it is that she's doing this in front of Samuel, but at least she was adult enough to have that conversation with him. Whereas, low down Lee.
Agreed. Yeah, absolutely agreed. And like as the episode goes on, we see how far she is willing to go to perform her duties as a wife, and it's like it's a shame, I mean, that's man. I'd marry Duala and I'd hold on to that girl. I would have not done that. I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't care if Katy Perry came in and said, "Steve, let's do it." I mean, nope, not gonna happen.
Yep. And maybe we're supposed to start shipping Starbuck and Apollo, and we were supposed to be feeling that. But the thing is that Duala grew this character. This actress grew this character.
Yes.
And this character has endeared herself to fans through her beauty, her wonderful countenance, the way that she can portray the role and expand on it, and just we feel so much compassion and love for her, and we're cheering for her. So it makes for some pretty intense feelings once that cheating starts to go down.
You've got a lot of parental show, a lot of family type bonds that happen in this show, and Duala is one of them. She's like the daughter on the bridge. She's like the young military daughter. Candace played that part so well, and like a couple other parts in this show, that they extended the life of the characters. They wrote new material for these characters. Candace did that. She performed very well. She was loved. She's beautiful. Her acting was just on point. I mean, how can you not be endeared to her? And so it pulls you along in the story when you develop relationships, with these characters as you travel with them down these stories. And so, hail to Candace McClure. I love Duala, her acting, the character, everything about her. I trip out and fawn over her, but in reality, I am just so very thankful that her and many of the actors on this show did the job that they did, because they gave me a gift for a lifetime. I've always enjoyed this, and I always will.
Yeah. It's like a great book, Stephen. You can just keep going back to it, and you enjoy it in the very same ways and in very different ways every time you read it. So totally agree. Hey, Mark D with the C. So good to see you.
Hail to you, Mark D. What's up, buddy? Hail to the chat. Thank you guys for being here. Please smash the like button and share out the link, especially if you know anybody else that enjoys Battlestar Galactica, because that's what we're here for. A good time, discuss this wonderful show, and just spread the love. Talk about great entertainment when it was great and written with care.
Yeah, so if I could throw it over to CC for a second. CC, could you please explain to everyone what's going on with this
Oh,
tipping element?
yeah.
And maybe we could get some folks rolling on that if you don't mind, please.
Absolutely. So because Drew doesn't have a traditional super chat platform with YouTube, you can definitely contribute in the way Toxic Man Flu just did by tipping through the stream elements mechanism here. You'll see the link pop up in the chat from time to time, and if I can find it, I will actually. Let's see. I can't do it here. So unfortunately, because I'm running this, I can't do some of the stuff that I normally would
Thanks
do.
so much.
But every once in a while, the stream elements will show you that you can actually leave a tip for Drew. And he could actually use it right now because if you don't know, I am the person running the show tonight. So it's me behind the curtain. I'm the man pulling the levers and trying to highlight all your chats and make everything happen here on the stage so that Drew can just be here to comment on his own channel and help make us great content. So with that, please do check out that tip option if you are so inclined, and help Drew get his power supply and motherboard repaired. And beyond that, let's keep going.
All right. Aye, Captain. Let's make it happen. Okay, so after those that wonderful credits when they all run, we cut back to the Discovery site, now dotted with archaeological experts. We hear they've radiocarbon dated the Temple Age at 4,000 years. This is weird because it is my understanding that radiocarbon dating on Earth, carbon 12 and 14 calculations, are reliant upon nuclear events. Though I am not a trained archaeologist, I just wonder about the nature of the isotope calculation. Anyways, this isn't a hard science fiction show, it's science fantasy. We join Chief on the phone or the horn, however you want to look at that piece of technology. It's best to just call it a horn, with Rosalind. He tells her he recognizes the temple from his father's teachings. It's the Temple of Five. Then we go to another scene. Through the phone call, the viewer joins Rosalind in Adama's office. They discuss the Eye of Jupiter, and an alarm begins to blare. Gata informs Adama they have multiple Dratus contacts. The Cylons have found them. 4 base ships inbound at high speed. The Admiral orders the fleet to jump away to a predetermined emergency coordinate. But Galactica stays. They won't abandon the away team. The Cylons don't launch raiders. They contact Galactica and request to speak with Adama. They put the call through on the intercom. It's Gaius. We abruptly cut to a Cylon delegation departing a base ship to meet with the humans on Galactica. Yikes! Rosalind and Adama walk down a corridor discussing the nature of the requested meeting and biding time to get the team off the planet stinks like crap. And then we cut to another scene. Further down the corridor, we see the Cylon delegation, an 8, which is Boomer, a 3, which is Beers, and 1, Cavill, and Gaius bringing up the rear. Under heavy guard, with Colonel Tai overseeing the escort. It's tense, and Red 6 joins Gaius's consciousness to comfort him. Any comments on these scenes?
Not off the top of my head. I do want to say thank you to Toxic Man Flu for his $10 tip that I already highlighted, and thank you to Brightest Day, who also tipped $10 through StreamYards. Thank you very much for that, Brightest Day. Beyond all of that, and here's that right there. Beyond all of that, thank you. Beyond all of that, I have to say that I really enjoyed your name for the planet.
Planet stinks like crap.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it, because obviously, if it's covered in algae, you know, what must it smell like? Because you have chlorophyll. I mean, there's a natural chemical response between light and algae, and under the right circumstance, if you happen to be near a miles and miles of ponds, there's a smell.
It is there is definitely a smell. So it's that's why that sex scene at the beginning too sort of just turned me off, because I imagined Slimer in between the two of them. Yeah, I don't think it would smell too good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like a rancid yeast infection. And
we do have a boxy theory that Toxic Man Flu advised me of. So Drew got a boner and launched his PC into space. Sends us this boxy theory, Steven. What do you think of this one?
Oh my God. I'm not reading it. I'm not reading this. I'm not reading it.
I'm not taking it off till you do.
Oh my God. Boxy theory number 1992. Boxy is convinced that Steven and his tree friends are responsible for the death of Gaia's Sonny Bono. That it was no skiing accident, and his arborist and his tree coven. Well, that's the yeah. Okay, thanks, brother. Thank you.
Oh gosh, you know what? Thank you so much for that, TMF. You are a wonderful human being.
Love you, TMF.
Despite the protestations of one author.
Oh, we love you, Steve. Oh, that is a great name change, by the way, TMF. Beware the Drew. Beware that Drew.
That seems so long ago when we all came up with that.
Oh, we're still bewaring the Drew now, you know.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
We should beware the Drew. We should fear them.
I mean, Drew, look, I just don't even bother with internet porn if your PC is going to crap out like that. You know, that's not how you're supposed to use electronics.
Yeah, I really wish we could have cued the drum music because Bear McCreary's soundtrack for the show is iconic, and his musical style is throughout, and that particular intro sequence is amazing. So thank you for mentioning that, Resergram. So and thank you for this. The anonymous person tipped $5. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you guys very much.
Darius Munchausen also tipped $10. Thank you very much for that. My goodness,
that really means a lot. We're gonna go to GoFundMe together. Drew has nothing to do with it because he wouldn't. He's way too selfless. He would never ask for that. But we're gonna get a GoFundMe together to get this man a computer. He needs it. This is a wonderful contributor to Bounding into Comics. Somebody who supports all of us and the newest member of Rogue Entertainment. So we're gonna do our best to get this thing funded.
Yeah, we need to. Yeah, that's one of the things we have to absolutely support each other. And yeah, stinky sex. Ew, yeah. Dirgy algae hippie sex. Yes.
God. Thank you, Roof Korean.
You would know you would know how Claire felt on the Orville.
Oh yeah.
They could just injured Stephen. I'm sorry, I love you.
Yeah. My love life doesn't need that imagery.
Dirty algae hippie sex. What is this?
I love Stephen. When I misspell his name, it's even more. Absolutely.
Oh, brother, love you too, man.
I do it all the time. I call
you do it intentionally because you're an asshole, but that's okay.
Oh my.
Mark D with a says, I never knew Boxy got into this much trouble.
We're just trying to figure out, what happened to Boxy. We're concerned about this character. There was no ending. Nothing was given to us, and we're trying to fill the blanks in. That's our mission on this show. That's the whole reason we're reviewing Battlestar Galactica. Screw the writing. What happened to Boxy?
I see Moira hanging out in the chat. Moira, I'll help you with Stream Elements when I get back. I can explain it to you at least. If you need help, just reach out later. But yeah, this sucks. This tablet really sucks, guys. I apologize if my audio quality.
Just run. You sound fine. Just run a fan over it. Yeah, just run a fan over it. To keep it cool and
don't keep it away from your dick. All right.
Yeah. You can burn something there.
Yeah.
You might need
it. Gosh.
Yeah, you don't want to do push-ups on the tablet with that thing. But anyway, Stream Elements says that Roof Korean did, as Stephen mentioned, tip $10. Thank you for that very much.
Thank you, Roof Korean. Hail to you guys. Thank
you. The roof is on fire.
No, if he pushes that tablet up high enough, absolutely. But anyway, I'm sure we can move on because we've already covered this a lot and things.
Okay, Athena stops Ty in the delegation to reveal the 8 is the boomer who shot Adama. Ty orders Boomer isolated, barred from the meeting, watched over by 3 guards. Athena 8 and Boomer 8 stare each other down. We go to another scene. We enter the heavily guarded assembly. Beers tells the humans guns aren't necessary. Cavill touches his chest and says, We come in peace. I spit my coffee out laughing, and this is not the first time I put in a parenthetical. They cut to the chase.
Right.
The Cylons want the Eye of Jupiter. The Cylons reveal they know the humans have found the original settlement of the 13th tribe. Cavill questions the situation that demands why the humans remain. If the artifact is retrievable, why not leave? Gaius starts to talk. Rosalind gets pissed off and leaves. Gaius talks about how many times he's saved humanity. Beers tells Adama that if the humans give them the Eye of Jupiter, they will let them go, and throw in Gaius as a bonus gift. The Cylons, so generous. They discuss their mutual desire to see Gaius shit kicked or tortured. And I'll just stop there for a second. Any thoughts on these scenes, gentlemen?
I thought that the meeting. I thought it was going to be more tense, the meeting between the humans and the Cylons. I was actually surprised there was that much decorum.
Yeah, I was expecting, like, every time I watch it, I'm always shocked by how few guards there are. Because, it's like facing off with the Vulcans. I mean, even though they're skin jobs, they're far more powerful. So I always feel like we don't have enough protection. Like, where are all the guards? Where are all of the MPs? Let's bring some MPs here.
They're still soft and squishy, though. We can still do some damage.
Still soft and squishy. Great line, CC.
I mean, otherwise, not the humans wouldn't want to, engage in, as to use your word, coitus.
Yes.
So, Brightest Day says Boxy was Cylon model 1/2. Yeah. Apparently, Roof Korean may have a used Corsair modular power supply unit. So you might reach out to Roof Korean if you can, Drew. That as long as it's, I would imagine you only need about 650 for what you have, 650 watts. But I don't know if I'm right on that. But.
Yeah, what I had before was 750. I think I could probably get away, probably 650, 700. So yeah, I'll see.
Yeah, and you obviously need the motherboard too because your header's toast, right?
Yeah, the power supply is gone, the Mobo is gone, and according to what the technician that looked at it said, the processor is not in great shape either.
Okay. All right. So probably some form of a AMD Ryzen for a temporary fix there. So, all right, guys. So that's where we're at. And I'm sure Roof Korean, Drew will reach out to you, my friend, Tony. So thank you. And of course, Parrothead wants Steven to know that, or actually needs to find out from Steven, do you prefer trees with or without moss?
Oh my. I like Darius's comment, robocoitus. See, you're starting to totally come in line with my notes. Coitus erectus, coitus interruptus, robocoitus. I mean, it's all good, isn't it, Darius?
Boxy was like Bobby Brady after Cousin Oliver was brought onto the show. Exactly. Yeah, they Cousin Oliver the character right at the very beginning of the show. So, and if you don't know what that's referring to, then you're not a Brady Bunch fan.
At 50 minutes past the hour, TMF has put up a substantial, probably a 200 character maximum. We should probably run that one. Boxy Theory 69. Oh, of course, it chooses 69.
Okay, well, this is one you should read then. This is right in your wheelhouse there, Raquel.
Boxy Theory number 69. The Galactica comes to a screeching halt as the sexual tension between Kara and Spare Tire Lee liquefies the ship electronics core, crashing the central computer.
Spare Tire Lee.
Yeah, true. He knows. Stay Puff, Marshmallow Lee.
All right. Well, let's see. Does anybody else have some amazing things to say? Mark D with he says, "Did you check the warranty on the PCU? My Corsair 850 went, and they sent me a new one." Well, that's cool.
I've had this thing nearly 6 years. It's probably a safe bet. Most of the stuff is out of warranty.
Wow.
All right. Well, at least we made it past the stinky sex and the Cylons that want to take the Eye of Jupiter. And, even though they don't, I don't think anybody even understands what the Eye of Jupiter is, including the audience at this point. But hey.
Yeah. Riddle me this. That's the whole reason. Okay, so we cut to the 8-on-8 showdown in the corridor, and I can almost hear the theme to the good, the bad, and the ugly playing in the background. Boomer tells Athena that Hera is alive and ill. Athena refuses to believe her. Boomer presses on, correctly revealing the entire plot to conceal the toaster tot. Rosalind, naming Rosalind, as the mastermind behind it. Athena refuses to acquiesce to the story and walks off with Boomer shouting after her. We cut to the head honcho meeting. Adama refuses Beer's offer. Beers threatens Adama. Should they attempt to remove the artifact from planet Goop? Adama's having none of it and gets into Beers' face. Adama tells her that if she tries anything, he'll nuke the artifact out of existence. Adama orders them off the ship. Cavill winks at Adama as he leaves the room. Back on the planet, the team consults with the Admiral and Rosalind. They are brought up to speed until the Cylons begin jamming communication transmissions. Once cut off, Starbuck and Apollo strategize how best to defend the temple until the artifact can be found. They elect Slimer Sam to lead the civilians in aid to the military.
Sam.
Yes. Well, have you seen him in this? He looks like he walked through something.
Okay.
Lee and Sam quickly erupt in an argument. Starbuck gets between them. Sam lets a snarky comment loose. Everyone leaves the Quonset but Lee and Kara. I'm going to stop here. Any comments, guys?
Slimer Sam is killing me.
How about Beers and the old man when they go face to face, and you can see how tall Lucy Lawless is compared to my hero, who I love so much, but he gives her full on Miami Vice stink eye. And it's awesome.
Look, when the old man tells you something, he is serious. I know these Cylons don't understand, but when he tells you something's going to go down, he means it. You know, when we get later on I thought he was going to do it. You know, when I first saw this episode, I was like, he will. You know, that is he will do whatever it takes to protect his family, that fleet.
Yeah.
And he does not play poker. No. You know, he's not bluffing you. And so, I love that whole scene.
Yeah, for sure.
Come on, say something interesting, Culture. Come on, what are you doing?
Yeah, should I continue? Let me just go on.
God.
Okay, so back in the mountain temple, they are prepping the obelisk with explosives. Callie whines to Chief about missing their baby. Chief talks about how much he hates religion. He talks about the sanctity of the place and its effect on him. He feels moved and connected and guilty about blowing it up. We cut to space and then inside Galactica as Gaeta tells Rosalind and the Admiral about a nearby star on the verge of going supernova. He waxes on about odds and fate and religion. Adama isn't impressed and says that if it is the work of a higher power, it has a sick sense of humor. Then we cut to the base ship. The Skin Job Council meets to discuss strategy. As Cavill unfurls a diabolical plan, Beers interrupts to say that she's had a covert plan from the jump in. There is a team of Centurions on the planet. As soon as the artifact is retrieved, they'll kill all of the humans. And I'll stop there because that's 3 scenes. Any comments, gentlemen? Yeah. See? Coitus Casino. What have I done? What have I done? I'm sorry, Cece.
Oh, it's all right. Ruth Korean it definitely has something that Supreme Heretic should look into, Drew. So try to reach out to Tony via email, my friend. So,
Author Stephen Coitus. I love you, Stephen. Parrot Head.
So awesome.
Parrot Head, my wonderful friend, would you please do me a favor? Would you please get that out on Twitter and hashtag that author Stephen Coitus? I would really appreciate it. That would just be wonderful.
Yeah. Stephen's night. It really will.
Yeah, thanks. Culture knows what turns me on.
Trees, glorious trees.
Brightest day at 57 after the hours. Just what the hell, dude? I thought we were friends.
Toxic coitus flu.
Toxic coitus flu.
Oh, I've turned you all into monsters. What am I going to do? Oh, Roof coitus.
Oh, you guys are so
I've
great.
ruined all of your brains. I'm sorry.
Even Runner's in on it. There's a bunch of trees for everybody.
Oh boy.
Now that you're a man, you can pick on me too. That's great. Welcome to the adult class, Runner. Thanks.
Look, Brightest Day at least is redirecting us properly. No, it's author Stephen Walnut.
That's a noble tree. All right. That's why you don't pick on a walnut.
You only chase the royalty, Stephen. It's very noble.
So funny.
Dick.
The Emperor of Corruption has sent out the hashtag just as I requested. Thank you so much, sir.
Oh, you're an agent of chaos, Raquel.
Quite a sexual podcast. Oh my God, we sat up all night. Oh, DMF, I love you so much.
That's great. That's it. We're rebranding the show. That's it.
Oh my goodness, I'm actually crying.
Oh, Dad Walking Man at 55 says, "What the hell? I check in here for the first time, and it's an interesting moment." Yeah, brother.
Your timing was impeccable, my friend.
That's how it
we have
goes
lots
around
of
here.
those interesting moments, just so you know there.
It's been very, yep. Author Stephen Walton is as sturdy as an oak. Yes, Ruth Korean. I think that's true. Yeah.
Thanks, man. Thank you. I take that compliment. Thank you.
Yes. The word coitus was being used, and therefore it was being. And this is our gaming channel, the Coitus Lounge.
Yes,
that changes the name of that.
I love that.
That's great. That is great.
Good.
Well, can we get a Merkel Emperor of Coitus out there, or is that too much?
How about Emperor of Coitus? That works for me.
Emperor of Coitus. Merkel Emperor of Coitus. That sounds like that one. Well, we know Brightest Day.
Oh,
absolutely.
dude, I love you, man. I love you.
Don't sweat it. Yeah, we believe me in this community. It's here we go. Mercakel.
There it is. Yeah.
Mercakel, very good.
Love it.
Man, if you guys ain't laughing, if we're not laughing, we ain't doing our job.
Oh, Dad Man Walking. We definitely have Coitus
Casino. Because culture coitus wouldn't be right, but Coitus Casino, that sounds perfect.
Yeah. Roll hard at the Coitus Casino. Oh God, you people are awesome. The Friday pre-coitus, yes, thank you. Now we're attacking my shows directly. Fantastic. All right, very good. Tomorrow there is a Friday pre-coitus, as a matter of fact.
Oh boy.
Laughing so hard I coughed and sweating. That's crazy.
Of corruption, yes, that works as well. All right.
Shall we continue, gentlemen?
We could all fall prey for coitus culture. Uncultured, yes, very good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh wait, the daily coitus, yes, absolutely. Yeah, instead of the daily.
It's only a 6-minute coitus, though.
instead of the daily stupid, actually, I guess in this case.
Oh,
yeah. Oh my gosh, you guys are great. Oh wow, climax your evening at the coitus casino.
I can't.
You gotta go all in.
Parrot Head has something for you, Raquel.
I know listen, Parrot Head is wonderful. He and I are the horrible people behind Beware the Drew. We're awful.
Oh my
when
gosh.
Parrot Head and I get together, we're awful.
Even Lady Mist. You can't handle the coitus.
That's great.
You can't handle the coitus. A Lady Mist, good one. Okay, let's keep going.
All right. Are you sure? All right.
Yeah, I'm wiping the tears. Okay, we cut to the Cylon contingent on planet Slime, prepping for attack. Then we cut to Anders debriefing his civilians on his plans to survive and defend the artifact. He gives them orders and a pep talk. As the civilians depart, Lee compliments Anders, tells him he'd make a great officer. Anders takes this opportunity to describe honor, valor, and oaths. That's a soccer kick to the nards. Lee tries to deny the cheating. Anders is frank about Kara's infidelity. Lee tries to center Anders on the situation at hand. Anders is having none of it. Back on the base ship, Beers confides in Gaius that she is on the verge of uncovering the 5 unknown Cylon models and perhaps the face of God. They are standing alone over the hybrid in her goop bath. She rattles off some suspect riddles. Caprica walks in. She confronts them on their secrecy and her exclusion. Gaius tries to reassure Caprica, but Beers boldly breaks up the band. Beers says she and Gaius have a shared destiny. They tell Caprica it's nothing personal. Gaius and Beers must go to the planet and then to pray for them. It's so sweet, isn't it? Pray for us. Back in the Quonset with Duala leading the plan, oodles of tension between Thrace and Duala. The mission begins. Starbucks Raptor is hit by Cylon fire. We see her in her cockpit and it ignites and she cries out. And I'm going to stop there because that's 3 scenes. Any comments, chat, or panel on these 3 really, really powerful scenes?
I like the tension with the Raptor and everything. Like the action starting to ramp up, and then you've got like this whole like weird tension between Anders and Lee, and you know, it's a definitely. It seems like it's diffused, but it's certainly not diffused, and. Yeah, I really like this portion when we're getting toward the final like third of the episode, and it's just all of this stuff connected is really good. Mm-hmm. Really pulls you in as a viewer, in my estimation.
Yep.
Yeah. And I'll just say this, and first of all, I'm going to say hi to Danny. What's up, Danny? Good to see you, man. And say this, that the tension that immediately unfolds is amazing. I mean, palpable throughout this entire cycle of scenes. And I just, I mean, I don't know how to describe it other than you feel it. And it's that. I don't know if we're quite to the crescendo yet, but it kind of feels like we're just building up to something that could be just awful, just absolutely awful.
Yep. Yeah, it's that rapid fire, and they resort to this rapid fire, not only to move the plot along and to get a lot done with imagery instead of dialogue, but also to build that tension, and usually to great effect. And this particular episode is quite rich in it. Beware the coitus.
Tonight's brilliant. We have just amazing chat tonight. You guys are on fire.
Love you guys.
Oh my god. Oh my gosh.
And at 5 minutes past the hour, it's Resvergam. A comment. How does Beers know about their destiny? We never really get clued in as to how these angels know what they know. There are. Okay, so she's been killing herself and reviving herself over and over and over again. And when that happens, she has a dream state that seems as though she's almost experiencing the same things as an ancient Greek seer would. So they're not really dreams so much as they're visions. However, to your comments, so to a certain degree, it is explained, but then not really to my satisfaction either. I also have not liked this whole Eye of Jupiter thing and this sort of riddle me this that's been going on with Gaius, where he can just draw conclusions out of premises that have nothing to do with the conclusion. So I agree with you to a certain extent, but once again, I believe the literary term, I haven't used that literary term in quite a long time, but I believe it is lacuna or lacunae. No, lacuna for one, lacunae for multiple. That's plural.
Literary theory, yeah.
But yeah, in literary theory, and that is that you build enough knowledge around a certain aspect that you don't have to display it or even discuss it. It's assumed. It's left out, but it is assumed by the reader or the viewer. So we are to assume that through all of these deaths and resurrections, this dreamscape, this seerscape, where she can see the future and she's given these visions, that is where she's getting all of her information from.
Yeah, and you know, there's going to be comments about all of that. You know, she was figuring stuff out as she went along. There's no doubt about it. She's just picking up pieces and kind of assembling them. She caught on to some of that because of the hybrids, right? I mean, her inspiration was the nonsense that they seem to be, you know, the metaphysical nonsense that they were attributing to the processes of operating the ship. So I think she came to that conclusion from Gaius, I believe, in previous scenes, right? When the three were getting down in the menage a trois couch of pain. Yeah.
Lots of menage a trois.
That's how you treat your toasters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Brightest Day there was some religious stuff involved in this. There's a fatalism as well. There was a lot of different acknowledgments of different belief systems. So yeah, at times it could challenge even, you know, the most ardent of any faith.
It wasn't. Sometimes it was a little heavy-handed, though.
I'm Brightest Day. I'm also agnostic. So usually agnostics, where, you know, the key to being agnostic is that we cannot decide on something that we know if it's unknowable. So I'm usually open to it, but sometimes when it goes a little too roll the bones and a little too religious, I get turned off of it a bit too, but not enough to turn me off the show, because there are times when I've watched this show where I sort of felt like it was almost therapeutic, because I think it's nice to create a space on television or in film where it's an all-inclusive resort, and people aren't at one another's throats over religion, but rather treating it like an all-inclusive resort. You know, they order their mojito and everything's okay. So I think it depends upon the time and space you're in. But I think in this world right now, and what's going on in our world right now, it can be a little fatiguing. So I understand where you're coming from there. I think everybody's had more than enough of 2020 and 2021.
I think the acknowledgement of the original Battlestar, in as far as how heavy they were, especially with like the Egyptian pantheon, and I really enjoyed it growing up as a young pagan, and as someone who was growing into it. This show came out while I was in the heat of that. And I really enjoy the smattering of different ancient cultures, belief systems, pantheons that were thrown into this story. Just because there's an acknowledgement there of the wonderful storytelling, even if you are not religious, there are some wonderful tales and stories and characters that have been developed over the course of thousands of years between different belief systems, or simply the borrowing of and changing of into another cultural system. So I really enjoy it, but sometimes it does get a little heavy-handed, like you had mentioned from a couple, was it last episode or 2 episodes ago, Raquel? Yeah. About how they were just throwing all those different things together.
Yeah, it was, and Raquel was spot on when she was talking about the fact that it just was so many things that were dancing together out in the moonlight, and it was insane, and you weren't wrong, but it's the adaptation of other religious elements by the succeeding religions that occurred throughout history. I mean, Christianity adopted a bunch of pagan belief systems and elements in order to attract those folks to their theology. So it's just it's just one of those things. And of course, Tony caught on to that right away. So
I love Resvergam, 11 minutes past the hour. I don't know if you're North American, but I just wanted to tell you, as a person who was adopted into a Greek family and converted into a Greek family, which is expected in Greek culture, I just wanted to say that very rarely have I met anyone outside of Greece who is who acknowledges the fact that it is a religion, that the pantheon of Greek gods is a religion. It's not a funny thing to mock or whatever. So
Absolutely.
wow, what a great thing. I mean, there are people, in Greece right now who still believe the mythos, and it's integrated with Greek Orthodox. It's also,
oh my God, I need to visit Greece.
It's in with agnosticism. It's even mixed in with atheism. So that idea of the theogony is very strong in Greece, and it is religious. It's not a funny children's story. So I would just like to say, Resvergam, if that's how you say your name, I very much appreciate your wonderful erudite comment. Very, very good. So good to see that on a stream like this.
Does people that still worship, still belong to that belief system, do they go to the ancient structures and temples? Like, do they do ceremonies there or blessings or anything like that?
It's not really like that, because of course it surrounds you when you're there. So there's no need to make any great pilgrimages. Certainly you wouldn't want to be burning anything on site or burning
leaving offerings of some kind, like something like that.
I can't speak to that. I can tell you this, that when I was first exposed to Greek culture, I was quite young, and I just learned what I learned in school about Greek myth, and I thought, oh, that's silly. Nobody believes that. And then I became a part of my Greek family, and I was quickly informed that for millions of Greeks, many of them accept in different measures that as a very special and religious thing. It's integrated in the culture, it's integrated in identity, and it's incredibly important. And certainly living as a Greek for nearly 2 decades myself, it's just when people treat it as though it's some sort of a joke or a comic book, it can be a little bit overwhelming, because you're trying to educate them, right? And so for Resvergam to come on here and to recognize that it is a religion is just a very, very special thing to say on a stream, on a podcast. So
I want to visit Greece more now than I ever have. That is awesome, Raquel.
Well, please let me know. I have lots of friends and family there, and Greece is a very beautiful place, and I can help you along. So if you would like to do that, please let me know, and I can tip you off to where you can go to make the trip a lot more reasonably priced. So beautiful. Get a hold of me on Twitter, and if you really would love to go there, I very much encourage you. I'll give you a little list of words to learn, and I'll give you my phone number. And once you get there, if you're a little overwhelmed, you can just call me on the phone.
Absolutely. Thank you. Oh, great. Okay. All right. Thank you, guys. Sorry to derail the show.
Not at all. I think that's what we're here. We're here for that. So just very, very cool. So thank you so much. And it'd be my pleasure to give you a hand, because Greece is a beautiful place that every single person should go to in their lifetime.
Yeah, there's a lot of European countries, if you have an opportunity before the structures are gone or burned down or whatnot, which seems to happen with increasing regularity. But Darius says a couple of brilliant things. It was interesting the Cylons were the monotheistic ones in the show.
Yeah. I've said that in the past. Isn't that cool? Yeah. Darius, you and I are of one mind on that one.
And he adds to that, especially since BSG was conceived as a biblical allegory by a Mormon, original title at Adam's arc.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, the Cylons were coming in. They were the new. They were something of the new. Their religion was new, and you were dealing with these ancient religions, and they were. I mean, from my perspective, looking back at history, the new religion is coming in to destroy the old. And not only destroy it, but appropriate parts of it and then use it to promote their own. So it kind of fits for me for the Cylons to be the monotheists. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I went too pagan? Let me tuck it back in my sack. I'm sorry, guys.
No, I love that. No, not at all. It's just everyone is very open to creating space to be heard and to listen tonight. So not at all. You did not create an awkward silence. I love everything you're saying. I just want to make sure that I create adequate space for you to express yourself, because what you think and what you feel is important.
No, I feel like I'm the one creating the most silence because I'm the most unreliable thing.
Drew, we are so worried that your phallus is going to burn out your little tablet there.
Yeah.
Don't worry, bro. We're talking for you.
Yeah. Don't use that as like a kickstand or anything, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Anyway, So hi to Snortopoopas Q Burr. It's good to see you here, my friend.
Yes, Snortopoopas.
That's right. Get lucky at the culture at the quiz casino. Miss Briggs says smart stuff, and it makes me feel smart adjacent. Yes,
Doesn't
she
it?
does.
Oh, I don't know about that, TMF. You are a very clever person, and definitely your puns give away your intelligence. So I enjoy your company and your wonderful wordplay.
That's awesome, Resogram.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Nice.
My Latin is horrendous. My Latin is absolutely awful.
Dude, wonderful name. That's beautiful.
And who taught you that word, sir? Be careful with use of that word. Please. I don't want you to ever get yourself in trouble. And I do not think you are a Malacca. Definitely you're not a Malacca. Everything that you have said here this evening would suggest that you are the opposite of Malacca. So if Haristopoli.
Wow. Okay. So now we're going to do Greece in the chat. So Adega Outlaws here, guys. Just say hi. And Roof Korean says, I long for the days when TV could inspire the mind to expand and delve down a rabbit hole of different cultures.
Yes.
As opposed to the virtue signaling morality preaching media tries to push.
Yes, Roof Korean. I mean, I'm sorry, real quick, culture. One of the reasons that I got interested in ancient cultures was the original Battlestar Galactica, the imagery that was in it. Where did that come from? The recognition of it. And then I went on and searched through with my science fiction and fantasy that I loved as a kid. That opened me up to new ideas, new parts of the world. It was long before we started worrying about, the troublings in the Middle East, at least for me as a young adult, that I was interested in those cultures, the cradle of civilization, the Middle East, because of entertainments. Because of the exposure of the stories of the mythos that was created, the modern mythologies that exposed you to those different cultures. So yeah, absolutely, man. I agree 100%. What's killing it, and that is the problem with. I'm not going to get too preachy, but that is the problem with our the way that our mythologies, our modern myths are being treated, the way that our entertainment properties are being treated, because it all comes from a place of division, separating us, segregating us, pointing out our differences as negatives instead of the positives, the beauty that can be brought. Whether you're no matter what your perspective is, that this world has given us, that all the various cultures, the various different evolutions of culture that have happened around the world. These differences are beautiful, not something that should break us apart, not something that should be a barrier between us.
We should appreciate and explore each other's cultures and interact with them and adopt as much of them, each of them, as we can, and not hold them solely unto ourselves, which again, that's a point of division, and we should not be doing that. So, but Greek mythology is very cool. And of course, serious question: did the Galactica have coitus thrusters and people engaging in thrusters?
On the Pegasus actual, they did.
You mean the coitus actual?
The coitus actual. Yeah, my bad. Thank you, Raquel. I'm a little slow.
Wow, Snortopoopas is giving away their age. I studied ancient and medieval history when it was still known as current events.
Snortopoopas.
We've got Tina. What's going on, Tina? It's good to see you.
Hello. I've never met you before, so it's a pleasure to meet you, Tina, and welcome.
Keltina is one of the most beautiful and supportive people, beautiful soul, adds something wonderful to every chat she's in, supporter of many of our channels. She's a big member of this, a great member of this community, Raquel. Glad you got to meet.
That's where you've learned all the swearing from. Okay. And this is why. All right. Well, then you have my permission to continue to curse in Greek. And good for you. And I'm so happy that your mate's Greek. That's great. That's just great.
Blessed. There is a town just north of me that was settled by Greeks and is still a major part of the local culture. Wow.
Nice. That's great.
Go Cubs.
Let's circle back on what Brightest Day was saying earlier about, you know, the religious aspect of it and being able to process all that information and you know, everybody into the pool. But isn't it funny how that sparked, it was the impetus for us to have this discussion. And isn't it funny how when we first watched, we did not feel that, but because of what we're going through in the world now, we feel so emotionally fatigued that it's hard to entertain these thoughts. And I was reading in a scientific paper last week, and I'm not sure if it was a medical paper or a purely science periodical, but they were saying that this entire scenario that has happened to all of us is even affecting our memories. Like we find it difficult to remember vocabulary. We find it difficult to remember short-term things. So it is really fatiguing, but isn't it great how we just took it to a space where it was in previous years where we were able to enjoy everybody into the pool, into the pool, grab a Mai Tai, everybody into the pool. We're all in a different headspace. And I just feel so glad that we brought it somewhere positive because, it's a lot to process these days. You know what I mean? We don't need extra.
Exactly. Well said, Raquel. And thank you, Brightest Day. I appreciate that comment, man. You know what it is? It's, not that I'm conditioned, but I enjoy my broom closet, and I don't really, come out all that often. But because I recognize that for some people have been trained in their lives to be offended by my very presence. So I curb it. Not that I'm ashamed of who I am, but it's just I don't know, common respect, I guess, for those who are misinformed.
And on that note, I'm sure we can get right back into the episode.
I'm sorry. Oh, my bad, bro.
And that stream element has come up again. So I'm just going to take this opportunity to say very, very quickly that this is an opportunity for you to donate to a fund. We're all scratching a kitty together for Drew so that he's able to repair his computer so he can keep bringing this wonderful podcast and other podcasts in to your homes and devices. So if you wanted to, you could participate in that stream elements. That's about tipping because this channel is not monetized.
But we are going to get Drew monetized. We're going to go through all of our friends and make sure that they are. But we thank you so much for helping to support him. Like I said, we're going to get a GoFundMe together to help him get his computer back, get a computer, because Drew's a great person in our community. He reaches out to everyone. He's a contributor at Bounding Into Comics. He's out there fighting the culture war. He's fighting for our right to have an opinion, everyone's opinion across the board, no matter what it is. You'll be allowed to speak your mind. And that's a very important voice and person to have in our community. So I thank you guys so very much for supporting Drew. And helping us to try and get him back on his feet. Thank you so much.
Our new friend has just said something quite brilliant.
I knew that was going to happen.
After the hour. Did you see this?
Oh, there we go.
That's a brilliant idea.
That is a wonderful idea.
Drew, we're doing that.
If you're just listening to this as a podcast and you're not participating in this live broadcast, across the marquee, it says, Drew, post an Amazon wish list link. That's quite a phrase to try and say.
Do it 3 times fast. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. But what a great idea. And maybe that's something you could mobilize because, wow, that's...
Now, could anybody, I'm not familiar with this, could anybody give to it? I'm
pretty sure. It's like a wedding thing, and I'm pretty sure they could, because usually with the wedding and the baby shower stuff and stuff that Amazon wish list is used for, it is to buy larger items that family members and friends can't all afford at once.
I think that it would be something more people would trust that more. I think than maybe a GoFundMe. Maybe we should go.
I was always under the impression that the people with the Amazon wish list, at least that I've seen so far, were chicks that were looking for sugar daddies.
They're looking for you, Drew. Beware it. I mean, it's that's
chicks?
what
you mean.
Chicken heads. He was trying to say chicken heads.
No,
now we go to chicken coitus.
Oh man.
Well, that was fun. That was not a detour I was prepared for. At some point, we're going to get back to the actual story.
Wait, scratching though. Someone made a petting a cat comment in my game stream after Batman and Catwoman not books. That's 2 cat scratches references in one night. Yeah.
There you go.
What is scratching the cat? What? Oh, God,
no. Putting some scratch together for the kitty. We used to say that in the bar all the time when somebody couldn't pay their tab. The bartenders used to put them in the kitty, and so you could pay into the kitty, or you could borrow from the kitty. And scratch is cash. So if you've got no scratch, and you need a beer, and you ask the bartender for a beer, you're going to get one, but we got to put your IOU in the kitty. So it's all about getting the scratch for the kitty.
Gotcha. My mind goes straight to the gutter. I thought about like a venereal disease.
Okay. It's just some bartender talk. I shouldn't be resurrecting that. I haven't bartended in 2 decades.
We're totally going to bring that up for like the next 5-6 episodes. Thank you very much. Thanks, TMF. Thank you. Hail, brother.
Drew's OnlyFan.
Oh my, yes.
Drew, do you have what would be classified as sexy feet? I mean, you could do it.
No, guys, I'm not the only one trying to get us back over.
Let's do it.
That's right.
We cut to Rosalind and Adama. Rosalind wants to talk about scripture, but Adama reveals that Boomer told Athena the truth about Hera. Rosalind tries to explain. Adama is so disgusted that he walks away from her mid-sentence. We cut to Athena and Hilo. Adama is there. They discuss the whole Hera debacle. Athena demands to see the toaster tot. We cut to the planet of Algae. Lee tells Anders Starbuck has been shot down. Lee kiboshes a rescue attempt. Their orders are to defend the temple or artifact, so the men argue. We cut to the CIC. The Cylon base ships deploy heavy raiders to planet Goopsalot. Rosalind and Ty discuss how the Cylons are calling Adama's bluff about nuking the planet. Adama gives the order to load 4 nukes into the launch chambers. We cut to the planet, and Lee and Sam's argument turns loud as Anders insists on finding his wife. Then we cut to the CIC. Adama orders the launch tube doors open. Gata executes. Then we cut to the base ship. Nukes in salute are detected. Cavill says Adama is bluffing. Then we cut to the Quonset. Lee orders Anders to stand down under gunpoint. And I'm going to stop there because this is just rapid scene, short scene after rapid short scene. And that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. So I'm going to stop here. Any comments on this, guys?
Man, yeah, the old man is not going back down. I said that earlier, but I commented on the wrong part because I was doing work in the background, and I apologize. The old man does not back down, and he's showing him that. And even Rosalind's standing there like, oh, my God. Like, is this bitch crazy? Yes, he's serious.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's just amazing. And of course, I love this man because when I used to babysit, I would always watch Miami Vice. And so he was a hero for me, and he was just so strong and powerful. And so I know that he takes no crap. And It's just he's.
Yeah, he's
I did
intense.
not think for a second that he would bluff because he's just not the bluffing type.
No, this kid's down there. He's gonna nuke the planet, y'all. You better recognize him. This man does what he says.
Yes.
You know, it doesn't matter. He'll, you know what? I'll deal with the con. I'll cry later. You know, like I love Admiral O'Donnell.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Okay, so we cut to the temple. Chief squints at the eye in the obelisk. Then we cut to the erect nukes. Then we cut to the CIC. Adama gives a targeting package order, the temple. Then we cut to the Skin Job Council panicking and discussing the bluff, the need for Beers and Baltar to reach the planet. Then we cut to the temple as Chief recites scripture, closely examining the eye carved and painted on the obelisk. Then we cut to Anders and Lee. Anders is incredulous. They continue to argue over whether Anders can depart to rescue Starbuck. Then we cut to the CIC. Adama orders the nukes deployed. And then across the screen, to be continued.
Yeah, I love the thing that you might recognize, folks, if you listen to my Redline radio show. I have an actual sort of clip from this episode as my opener for the Critical Mass show, and that is you have the one part where Rosalind is asking Adama, "What are you doing?" And he says, "I'm getting ready to nuke the planet." And man, it's just such an awesome scene. And then it goes over to Hoshi, and you see him say, "This is a nuclear mission order," and then they put in the keys, and they say, the missiles are loaded. And he said, and I love the one line he says, "Load target package 3 Bravo, set your target as the underground structure."
Yeah.
And then he says, "Release of nuclear weapons is now authorized." And right before we get to the "to be continued," you just see Ty, "Yes, sir." And it's just awesome. And that's my little intro clip for the Critical Mass show. So you can catch that on the Redline Radio channel on Wednesdays on YouTube, and it also goes across Facebook. I'm able to still do that one because that's live from an actual radio studio in the beautiful downtown Cleveland. So you can catch me on that show actually live.
Yeah. So what did you guys think of this? It's time to hash it out. Chat, please launch your assault now. The good, the bad, the ugly. Let's talk about this episode. Any comments you may have that you want this panel to debate, or anything left unsaid?
I was just gonna give some comments real quick in the score because this thing's kind of getting hot.
Okay.
So,
not rubbing it, man.
Basically, I really like this episode. This is one of my favorites of season 3. Really action-packed episode. I got a little bit of the whole sort of Red Dawn vibe when Lee and Anders were going at it, and they were leading a band of civilians to try to put together an offensive and also a rescue op. I thought that was cool. There was also, a lot going on with the temple on the planet where they were where they had found the Eye of Jupiter, and then I really liked the tense moments at the end. With obviously, as I was explaining that clip, and all in all, for me, this was just a really enjoyable thing. The only thing I disliked was, again, I agree, I think, across the board with the entire panel about the way that I've lost some respect for characters as well, with the way that the characters are dealing with their faithfulness to their spouses. But all in all,
but if you're angry about it, then that shows that it's good writing, because it's not necessary that it ought to elicit warm, fuzzy feelings. Good writing also, it can ruffle your feathers. More chicken jokes. I don't know why, but yeah. So I, if it aggravates you and it gets you thinking and feeling something, that's not necessarily. It doesn't necessarily have to be a good thing, right? It can also be some bad feelings or anger and because it's a very controversial subject.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah, so this episode gets an 8 from me, and again, I just want to say thank you so much to CC for running the show and doing such a great job. Also, Raquel for co-hosting and doing an amazing job leading us through with her notes and her attention to detail as only she can. And also, the big thank you to Steven. I love these people. They are beyond family, beyond friends, and they are a big part of my life. And I also appreciate everybody in the chat and all of you, my friends that are helping and reaching out. Thank you so much.
We love you too, and I hope you saw Steven.
Yeah, I did. It was awesome.
Yeah,
right.
We love you too, and thank you so much for creating this space for us to be able to talk about BSG and bringing all the BSG fans together. On behalf of the rest of the panel and the chat, we really appreciate it, and it's a ton of fun to do this with you.
Oh yeah, I love it. I love it. This is one of the favorite shows every week, so I get to hang out.
Clobbering Times is here. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah,
Clobbering Times, Clobby! I love you. I love you with all my heart.
We have a lot of people just hanging out in here.
Hail, thank you for the hearts, Moira, and hail again, Mike. Great to see you, buddy.
Hail, chicken coitus.
Yeah, I just I appreciate everybody being patient and bearing with me. This is an interesting situation at the moment. So, thank you.
I mean, we wouldn't have eggs without it. Culture,
No, the chickens have the eggs regardless.
Thank you for supporting us, Mark D with a C. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, yes. I don't know. You're right. I mean, seriously, the casting director worked overtime on bringing in just a huge cast full of smoke shows.
Yes.
My goodness.
And they brought their A game. None of these smoke shows are duds. They brought their A game to this show. So my rating for this is going to be a 7.5 to an 8. And the reason being is I've never felt that season 3 was very strong. So most of you are probably sitting at home going, but Raquel, season 1 and season 2, you were all 9s and 10s, 9s and 10s, 9s and 10s. Well, for me, I think like an 8 is high for season 3. So this is a good episode. There was far less riddle me this, riddle me that. The subject or the conclusion does not follow the premises, and so it's a gooder. Let's go with 8. It's good for season 3. So an 8 is like a season 1 10. Does that make sense?
Sure.
All right. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Steven. No, I usually let you round it out when you're on one of my shows.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I just had a comment.
Whoop it out.
Please.
Yeah.
Please. Go ahead.
No.
Your hair's better than mine. Go ahead.
You can't see my hair right now. Go ahead, Steven. Say whatever words you were going to say. Otherwise, you'll forget them.
No, I won't forget them. I'll just wait till I'm rounding out. I'm okay. Chicken coitus.
You're gonna round things out. Huh? All right. Well, anyway, look, I thought this episode was worthy of an 8.5. It's one of those that just the tension was ridiculously well done. It's one of the few times I can appreciate the jump cuts, especially at the end. There was no doubt in my mind that they were going to nuke the planet if that came to that, because the last thing you want to do is give the Cylons a road sign on how to get to Earth, because I mean, heck, that's where you're headed at this point. It's Earth or bust at this point. And so it was like, okay, well, if we're not going to let our enemies get there before us or even follow us there.
Yeah.
So Adama has the huevos of many men, so it's very, very impressive, and I enjoyed it. So I'd say
Edward James Olmos.
That's right.
Love him.
Yeah, should say an 8 or About 8 or 8.5. I have a little higher regard
gotcha.
for it than
I
that.
gotcha.
But,
I gotcha. That's a
yep.
great rating, CC.
Yeah.
And what about you, Stephen?
I think that the comment that some heterosexuals say I might go gay for, a male actor that's really well, might apply with Edward James Olmos if he was staring at me intently and I felt my life was in danger. No, he's a great character. Some episodes you really need to watch them together. Like this cliffhanger episode is not one that I'm able to just isolate by itself. I had to watch the next one. In a lot of the good Battlestar, a lot of this show, you want to keep going. You want to keep watching. You can't wait for the next part of the story. And I feel the same way with this one. I really liked the character dynamics, from pleased with arcs to being surprised to where they were going to being disgusted by some of the characters that I love, the actions that they're taking place in. So this episode and the next one, they're both 8s. I love them both. And so, I'm going to say 8 plus a strong 6 inches from my future ex-wife, who was a central character and was killing it and showed what she is willing to do for her man. Hail toxic femininity.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
All right. This is usually where Drew, but I guess he overheated.
Okay, so let's just get started. Okay, so I'm Raquel Briggs. I write science fiction short stories. If you like the Twilight Zone, the original Twilight Zone, and with like an Edgar Allan Poe spin, please go on Amazon or go on your Kindle device. The stories are less than $1 each, depending upon what country you're in. Please read my stuff. I would like to get enough of them together where I would actually do a print copy where I could sign them and send them to people. I never stream on my own. I'm a regular on Clobberin' Times, and you'll see him in the chat. He is a brilliant curator, former comic book store owner, and I just love him so much. He has a Global Geek Gang where he has a whole bunch of wonderful people on, and we do a little show called Saturday Night Star Trek, and we have a great time together as we discuss 66 to 05 Star Trek, which is the only Star Trek. And that's going to be it for me, other than saying thank you so much to the Wrenches and to the chat for coming here and supporting us tonight. And I just want to say thank you to the panel. I love you guys. I had a great time. And now I'm going to throw it over to Stephen. Stephen, what are you up to? Will you please let us all know what you're up to lately?
He's muted. He's up to being
muted. You're muted. You're muted, baby.
I did it. I did that shit, and I give everyone else shit for it. So now it's never going to end.
Oh my God.
It's never going to end. I love you guys. Hail to the chat. I'm gonna be making videos here soon. I'm gonna do a members only stream probably tomorrow, and then do another coffee and bullshit stream. I'm sorry that I've kind of shifted into a streaming channel, but I'm working on finishing up the Phantom Menace Volume 2. I'm also working on my science fiction, Hearts of War, and everyday life stuff. I'm gonna be making a move here soon into another state, and I'll let you guys know about that when it's going on. But I really hope that you will share out a link to Drew's channel, share out a link for him, because he deserves to be monetized, and so do a lot of wonderful people in our community. Thank you to all of you for showing up today. I see a lot of familiar names, people with your own channels, and I'm happy to see in the last 2 years, at least as long as I've been a part of it, so many people getting together, wonderful creators, and creating great shows. It's an inspiration. You guys out there doing a podcast, having a show, entertaining people, giving people escapism, you're an inspiration to somebody. My heart goes out to you. Thank you guys so very much for being there. Thank you for supporting the show. Thank you for supporting Drew Taylor, and hail to you. Be good to each other. Peace.
Well, thank you very much, Stephen. And I appreciate you, my man. And finally, me, Culture Casino. I have a YouTube channel. I'm often found having a live show for 6 minutes every single weekday in the morning time for most people, where I just kind of go over the news and pop culture and entertainment of the day. You can catch me a couple times a week with a video, usually talking about entertainment and pop culture from the business side of things, and why I think sometimes things that companies are doing are rather ridiculous. And finally, tomorrow is the Friday pre-flight, where I actually talk with my panel, which happens to be just the chat. It's me and the chat talking about what we think our favorite shows will be talking about over the weekend. So it gives us a chance to get in the mode to listen to our favorite shows like Friday Night Tights and Friday Night Frolics and everything else that happens through Saturday and even Sunday. And of course, Saturday marks the return of an amazing show that I do with Mad Mardigan on his channel called Street Smarts. We finally beat the copyright claims that were complete hogwash.
Good.
They were preventing him from live streaming on his channel. And so I welcome everybody to that. And beyond all of that, thank you guys for being here, because without you, there would be no show. We appreciate you so very, very much.
I'm going to wash your hands and wash your ass.
Okay, but before we go, let's just allow Cece a few seconds to circle back on the fact that we're all promoting a cause right now to raise some money for Drew. So Cece, before we go, would you just give us a little wraparound there to close it off the show?
Yeah, that's actually where I was headed, is to our friend Drew, who's actually in a position where he needs our help because he is with sans computer at the moment, which means without. And that is because his power supply and motherboard decided to no longer work. Now, he could probably also use a processor, and he's had some help here today, and we appreciate all of your generosity. But you can always hit him here for a tip. You can always hit him on his PayPal, and hopefully he'll put together an Amazon wish list to make it a little easier to just help him get things outright. Beyond all that, I'm certain somebody will put together a GoFundMe to help get him over the hump to getting maybe a new computer at some point in time. But for now, we just need to get this repaired. So if anything that you can offer, anything that you can help is wonderful, even if the only thing you can do is to share out, either this tips link or the PayPal that, of course, has been floating around as well. And if you have any questions about that, you can certainly DM myself or author Stephen Walton and on Twitter, or you can reach me on Minds. My handle's the same everywhere. And I will be happy to direct you there. Other than that, thank you so much for your support this evening. And as I said, be sure to support our buddy Drew. If you guys want to check out some great stuff, we have other shows coming up this evening that I'm sure you will enjoy, including one that I'm going to next on Comics Division's channel. But beyond all that, guys, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, wash your hands, of course.
Wash your ass!
So say we all.
So say we all.
And so say we all.